children. What's up, y'all? It's Alicia and welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad to be here today. I'm so glad to be doing this video. I know by the title, y'all like, girl, it is mid-August. What are you talking about? Yes, okay, so we're doing a June and July reading recap. I know August is almost halfway over, and yeah, I've tried to record this video 2 or 3 times at this point, and it's just chaos. Chaos. I'm so sorry, but I definitely wanted to get this video out to y'all because if you watch my book haul, I read a lot of the books that I got in that book haul, and I wanted to report back. So yeah, let's not waste any more time because I got quite a few books here. So yeah, let's get straight into it. First off, before I get into it, make sure you like and subscribe if you like book videos. I really make content about the things I like, so that's fashion, books, fitness, lifestyle, and vlogs. So if you like any of those things, come on over to the club, baby. It's fun over here. But yeah, let's get straight to the video. First off, I'm gonna start off with the books I read in June. I read a nice bit of books. I read 4 books in June. I mentioned, I think in my book haul, that I just started back reading this year, and so far, pretty much until June, I was reading about 1 book a month. So for me to read 4 books in June was a quite bit of a surprise for me, but I was like locked in. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I read The Wedding Party was the first book I read in June. This is the 3rd book by Jasmine Guillory in the Wedding Date series, and I really enjoyed this book. It was a enemies to lovers romance, and I ate this book up. I loved it so much. Okay, so the Jasmine Guillory's Wedding Day series, I don't necessarily know if you have to read them in order. It might be a standalone and a connected series, but I do recommend reading it in order because it's like little Easter eggs in previous books, or it connects the characters in previous books. So you could don't necessarily have to like read it in order, but for the first 3 books, I would say read it in order. So like I said, this is the 3rd book, and in this book, the main characters are Maddie and Theo. Now, they are the best friends of Alexa, which is the main character, female character in book 1, The Wedding Date. So they are her best friends, and she's getting married, and they are in the wedding party, i.e. the name, The Wedding Party. And they don't like each other. Like, it's beef. They ops, okay? And they have to work together because they are in the wedding party. Maddie's the maid of honor. Theo is her bridesman, and you know, they have to get along for the sake of Alexa and making sure everything goes smoothly. And in the process of that, they become close and connected, and it just goes on from there. It's a really cute, really beautiful story. Nothing too crazy. I'm seeing a pattern, well, I've noticed a pattern in Jasmine Guillory's books that she has this 3rd act breakup, which is based around the lack of communication, and it kind of gets annoying after a while, especially reading this series. I was like, okay, girl, can we come up with something else? Like, give them another reason to, like, not like each other anymore. But anyways, I really enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 stars. This is probably my favorite book in the series, but I'll talk more about the series a little bit later, okay? So, yeah, read The Wedding Party. Then I read The Partner Plot. This book... so cute. This was another 5-star read for me. This is the 2nd book in Christina Forrest's Green Sister series. So the first book is The Neighbor Favor, and I read that earlier this year. I think that was the first book I read this year, actually. And then this one came out, and it followed up with Violet Green. I think she's the older sister. She might be a middle sister, but yeah. So each book is going to be about the different sister. It's 3 of them, so it's it's Lily and Violet and Iris. So Lily was in a neighbor favor, Violet is the partner plot, and I definitely recommend reading them in order. Although the last book did not come out until February 2023, and it's about Iris, which 2025. Sorry, wait, hello. It comes out in 2025, and I'm so excited for that one because so far I've really been loving this series, and I've never read anything by Christina Forrest before, so she got a fan out of me. And yeah, so it is a second chance romance. It's kind of like a fake marriage, and they have to fake date. So they meet up in, so her, Violet, and her ex-boyfriend from high school, they reconnect in Vegas while Violet is out there, and they out there together, and they see each other in the club, see each other, and they link up. Everything is going cool. Violet's drunk. They get drunk. They wake up the next morning with wedding bands on their finger, and they like, how, you very confused. Okay, and the marriage, it goes from there. And yeah, it's a really cute story. Like I said, I definitely recommend reading The Neighbor Favor first, because reading that first makes this make a lot more sense, and it makes it so much better to read. So yeah, this is a 5-star read. Definitely would recommend. My next read is In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. I think I did talk about this in the book haul, but I'm gonna talk about it again because I read it in June. So yeah, so In 5 Years by Rebecca Searle. This book was kind of questionable for me because, to be honest with you, like reading it, I went into reading this thinking it was a romance because that's kind of how it is set up on the blurb on the back. And honestly, it's not really a romance, and I thought it was. So if I would have known that it was not going to be a romance, I probably would have went in with lower expectations for what the story would be. So like on the back, it says like Danny, it's about a woman named Danny. So Danny is, you know, she's on a successful track. She has this big 5-year plan. She's up for her dream job. She gets that job. She gets engaged the same night with the man that she's been been dating for 5 years, right? Okay, so they go out, celebrate after her job interview. Cool. They get engaged. Cool. They go home. She falls asleep. She wakes up in the middle of the night, the same night that she got engaged, but she has a different ring on her finger, and it's a different man next to her, and she's like, what the hell? Like, what is going on? And you think after that, okay, like, it's gonna be romance-y, but it's really not a romance. It's more about self-discovery, being okay with things not going your way, and just like letting life run its course. Basically, it is a very deep book. You do have to think a little bit when you're reading about it. It does make you think, and also it deals with a lot of like different things, such as being okay with life taking its course and the unexpected twists and turns of life, especially when it comes to love and friendships, as well as it deals with grief a little bit. So yeah, I definitely would recommend reading this book, but because I was so confused reading it, I rated it a 3.5, but I could not stop thinking about it afterward. Like, it definitely left a good taste in my mouth. So I will probably check out another one of Rebecca Searle's books, but as far as this one, it was a little bit you know. So yeah, moving on. In 5 years, the last book I read was 7 Days in June, and I had to read this book. I felt like, girl, it's June, hello, I had to read it. Like, 7 Days in June, reading it in June, how cute, you know, very cutesy. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed 7 Days in June. Oh my gosh, I wish I could go back and read this book for the first time again. It was so beautiful. This was my first book by Tia Williams, and definitely will not be my last. I'm definitely gonna go visit some of her other books. I have The Perfect Find right here that I'm gonna read soon, and I want to get a love song for Ricky Wild too. But as far as 7 Days in June, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was great. It was definitely more of a journey in this book. You get to understand like the character. It goes really deep into the character, why she is the way she is, her background. You explore her motherhood journey, her childhood experiences, and why she is the way she is. The main characters, Eva and Shane, they are exes, and they reconnect, and they basically are writing about each other in their stories. And you know, it's kind of like, what you writing about me for? Like, stop writing about me. It is so good. I love this so much. Yeah, so it's a second chance romance, and it deals with a few of very deep things. So I do say check the trigger warnings, because I wasn't really prepared, but I wasn't really faced by some of the things. But I do say, if you are, just check the trigger warnings, okay? Check the trigger warnings on this, because they do get a little dark in some areas of this book. And yeah, but I do say I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I rated it 5 stars. And yeah, so that is my reading wrap up for June. 3 5 stars, 1 3.5 star. Very good for a dense reading month, but after that it got real denser. Okay, so moving on to July. Yeah. I read 7 books in July. Okay, crazy, very crazy. Okay, so I started off July by what I ended June with. I started this in June, but I finished it in July. And the book is All About Love by Bell Hooks. Now, let me explain, because this was the only nonfiction book I read, and I wanted to read this for a few different reasons. So I had this book in my collection, and I've tried to read it before, but I didn't really get into it. And this time I wanted to like try again and really get into it and really, you know, understand more. I feel like this book is very highly recommended if you want to get more into your self-love journey, understanding like love and relationships and things like that. At least that's kind of what I got from the recommendations on Twitter. That kind of got me to wanting to read this book in the first place. But also, I know that this book is referenced a lot in Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go and This Could Be Us, and I wanted to read this first before I read those, because I wanted to, you know, understand the references and not be like, oh, I have that book but I haven't read it. But these references, like, you know, I wanted to, you know, be a little head. So I wanted to read this book, and I did enjoy it. It is kind of deep. It makes you think a lot about what love means to you, what we have been taught to understand what love is, how love is represented and shown. And it kind of just goes in every avenue of what you would expect when you're talking about love. So yeah, I did annotate this, and I really like left my mark in this book. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I definitely understand why Bell Hooks is a well-renowned author, and I definitely want to go and get more deeper into her collection. It's a few books. I think this is a series, so I know it's Salvation and Communion, and I want to get those 2 next. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed, definitely would recommend. Really did not rate that, but if I had to, I guess it would be 5 stars. But yeah, on the next book, Only for the Week. Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. Oh my gosh. Natasha, come to the front. Miss Ma'am, come to the front. This book was so good. I flew through this book. I probably read it, I want to say a day. Maybe it was like a day and a half. I don't know. I ate it up. Loved it. This book I was the most intrigued by, because everybody was going to talk about it on Book Talk, and I kept seeing it here on YouTube as well. And I was like, let me see if the girls are talking about. So I read it, and it was definitely worth the hype. It really introduced me to Natasha Bishop. I've never read anything about her, which isn't a surprise, because like I said, this is my like first year stepping back into reading in general. So a lot of these authors are new to me, but so far I'm a fan of Natasha Bishop, and I'm gonna go deeper into her catalog as well. But this right here set the tone for what to expect by her. I loved this book. This is probably like one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It was so good. So this book, it goes on about Janelle. So Janelle is the maid of honor at her sister's wedding. Her sister is getting married to Janelle's ex-boyfriend. Yeah, you heard it right. That's exactly what I said. So you going in thinking like, that's awkward, that's weird, that's a little, you know. But honestly, it's cool, because Janelle is like, actually, y'all's relationship makes perfect sense. It makes total sense why y'all are together. Y'all work so much better than me and that man did. So, you know, blessings. You know, I'm not mad. Everything is cool. She's cool about it. But her sister and her mom are really like on edge about it because they think she's lying. They think she's like, you know, feeling the way. And she's like, nah. So her sister is really stressing her out in this wedding, and they're in Tulum for a destination wedding. Like, I don't think I've said that, but yeah, they're in Tulum for the wedding. So it's crazy. She's like, I just want to give her wedding so she can go get out my way because she's getting on my nerves. This is what Janelle is thinking, right? And so Janelle and the best man, Rome, they end up crossing paths, but Janelle is familiar with Rome because he is like the groom's best friend, and the groom and Janelle used to date, but Rome was always kind of like ducking her. So she was like, damn, what I do to him? Basically, she was like, he don't like me. Like, what's going on? And it's not that he don't like her. He's just like, I need to stay away from you type thing. Okay, so they end up crossing paths, and it really gets really intense between them, and this was such a beautiful story. I don't know where Natasha got the inspiration for Rome. If it's a real man, please please drop the info, cause girl, please. But definitely recommend reading this book if you like romances, if you really just want to break from reality. This is what this gave me. So yeah, 5 stars. Only for the Week by Natasha Bishop. Jasmine Gullery's Royal Holiday. I love this book. I was kind of nervous going into it because it features an older couple, and it features the mom of Maddie, which is the female main character in the wedding party. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get into it or be able to relate a little bit. But honestly, it was really good. The story was written very well. I'm a fan of Jasmine Gullery, as you can tell by now. But I really enjoyed it. It gave me a Silly Guy groove back. So I loved it. I really enjoyed reading this book. And yeah, for a little synopsis, if you want to check this out, this book is based around Christmas time, which I know kind of bothers some people, but it don't bother me. I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. So this was like, yes, give me more. Give me 14 of them right now. Yeah, so it's based around Christmas time. So Maddie is going on a work trip because she got this huge opportunity in London, and she's like, I'm gonna take my mama with me. Like, she called her mama and she's like, come on girl, let's go. And her mom is like very hesitant, very nervous because she's never left out the country before. She's like very stuck in her ways, set in her routine, and she's like, no, I can't go. We do these things every year and I have to be there for him. And she's like, Maddie's like, no girl, you need a break. So we're gonna go. And they make it to London, and it's a very new experience for her because, like I said, she's never been out the country. This is her first experience. So she's like really understanding and seeing more out of the world, and she's like enjoying it, and she's trying to let herself enjoy it. So this book was really about like letting yourself have a break, like letting yourself breathe pretty much. But yeah, I really loved it. This book with the communication thing was not as bad, still a little annoying, but it was not as bad as most of the other ones. So yeah, I think I rated this 4 stars. Yeah. Next book was the 5th book in the Wedding Day series. That was the 3rd book. This is the 4th book. This is the 5th. Jasmine Gullery's Party of 2. I really wanted to finish this series because I was ready to wrap it up. But yeah, so book 5, Party of 2. Now this one, it is about a woman named Olivia. She is Alexa's older sister. So Olivia is a lawyer. She was living in New York, and she finally moved back to LA after being in New York for 10 years. And she's moving back to start a law firm with her friend, her best friend. And so she's in this hotel while she's waiting on getting situated with her apartment and everything. And she's at the bar after a long day of work, and she meets this man, and she's like, oh, he looks familiar. like, you know, where I know him from, but doesn't really like place him. She's like, oh, he's probably an actor or something like that, whatever. And so she just having casual conversation with him, and it kind of like leaves a mark on them too. And she goes back to her hotel room, whatever, turn on the TV, and she realizes it's the senator of California. And she's like, whoa. I cannot believe that's who I was just talking to. So they kind of end up running into each other again because she's a lawyer. She's trying to like network and build her business up. So they, of course, they're going to eventually cross paths. And yeah, it kind of goes from there. It does kind of really dig into, you know, being open and trying to, you know, not be, what I'm trying to say. You have it. It shows you how to be open-minded. It shows you how to, you know, try to be the person that you want to be and be a better person, not get stuck in your ways and your old thoughts and old routines. It's a little bit about that. And yeah, it kind of like goes on a little journey because they have to navigate their relationship without it being public, because they're not ready for that. Like, she's just getting back. She's like, but I did enjoy this book. What did I rate this? I rated this 4 stars as well. So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, the first 3 books were so much better, but if you wanted to read this just for a little something different, I would say recommend it. But I will recommend it. Alright, so the next book I read in July was In It to Win It. It is a second chance romance based around the characters Morgan and Drake. So Morgan and Drake, they dated in college until Morgan ghosted him and left college and left the country. And they have not spoken since then. So it's literally been literal years since they have spoken, okay? And then they run across each other at this meeting for this company, for this property that they are competing for. And they're like, what? Like, hello, what's going on? I have not seen you in literal years. And Drake is like, yeah, since you left me, like, what's, you know? And so it's a little bit of spite and, you know, a lot of harbor emotions because they never really got closure. Morgan just left. And so in the process of competing for this property, Morgan wants this property for her nonprofit. Drake wants this property because it is very sentimental to him. It's a property that his father designed before he died. And yeah, it just means a lot to him. So he's like, yeah, she's not getting this property. I want it. It's mine. And she loved me. Oh, it's up. You know, so it's a little bit of that. And so they're going through this process of, you know, understanding what all the competition for the property entails. And it basically like a obstacle course, a big competition to get it. And you will understand more of why they have to go through all these hoops to get the property as you read the story. It's like not really a very main part of the story, but it is just like a side factor. Anyways, as they're preparing for this story, they reconnect and they start understanding more about each other. Morgan apologizes and understanding why and explains why she left, and Drake is just like, you know, you could have talked to me, basically. You could have like let me know what was going on. And yeah, so they end up rekindling, and the story really goes on from there. It is a little bit of a surprise plot twist, but I kind of saw it coming, to be honest with you. So if you read this book and you understand what I'm talking about with the surprise plot twist, let me know if I was tripping or if you saw it coming too. But yeah, overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Definitely would recommend reading it. And yeah, it was really cute. So In It to Win It by Shane C. Cooper. I think I rated it 5 stars as well. Okay, the next book I read in July was the last book in Jasmine Guillory's Wedding Day series, While We Were Dating. This was my least favorite book in the entire series. It's also the thickest book in the entire series. I don't understand. I don't know what happened. Like, I really don't know what happened in the process of writing this, but I'm about to explain why I felt the way I felt about it. I rated this 3 stars, I think. So let me tell you. This book features Ben. Ben is Theo's little brother from the wedding party. And Ben is this he's an advertisement. So he works for this company. And he's at this meeting pitching a campaign to a company that they're working with. And the company is featuring a celebrity actress in this campaign, and she pops up at the meeting, surprising everybody because nobody expected her. And so immediately, like, a little bit of a spark flies between Ben and Anna, the actress. And so it's like, okay. And so Ben is doing his thing, he's pitching his thing, and everything is going well. And they end up in the pitch or whatever, cool. Now the company is like, I like them, I want to work with them. And Anna's like, yeah, let's work with that company, but only if Ben gets the lead, because there's a little bit of a conflict between Ben and his boss, but also a side plot. So yeah, so she's like, yeah, Ben is getting the lead, so she's vouching for him off rip. And so she emails him the night after the night that he finds out that they got the campaign, and she's like, congratulations. And they kind of email a little bit back and forth, which was really cute. And after that, they kind of end up working together, so it's like a workplace romance. And then you get a little bit of backstory between Anna and Ben about their own individual stories outside of the workplace romance. And then you also see what their relationship is starting to be built like. And yeah, so it's really cool. I feel like it gave so much about the backstory of each character and the side plots of each character. And you saw a very, like, small glimpses of the relationship. And then when it was time for the relationship to be the start of the book, it kind of was rushed. So that's why I really did not I didn't really like that about this book. But overall, it was a cool read. I do feel like, you could have told it in a lot less pages. Maybe if you didn't rush or give so much backstory to each of the characters, we would have got more of the romance. But overall, I did enjoy reading it. It just was not my favorite. So yeah, While We Were Dating by Jasmine Guillory, like I said earlier, I recommend the first 3 books of the series if you don't want to read the entire series. But if you want to read the entire series, I say go ahead and read it. But let me know if you have read While We Were Dating and you had some of the same thoughts, or if I'm tripping or not. So yeah. And then the last book I read in July was On Rotation by Shirlene O. I do not know how to pronounce this lady's name, so I'm not going to disrespect her by mispronouncing it. I will just show y'all. Okay, so this book, I really enjoyed this book. This was also like one of my most enjoyable reads that I read recently. And so let me give you the tea. Okay, so this book features the main character, Angie. Angie has what you would think about a perfect life. Like, she's in medical school, she has this great boyfriend, he's a lawyer, she has a great best friend, and things are going really, really well for her. So she's on the way home to meet her family, and it gives you a glimpse into what the life is like for a first generation American in a immigrant family. Her family is from Ghana, so it kind of gives you a little glimpse on the traditions of their family as well. But yeah, so they're on the way back. Well, she's on the way to pick her boyfriend up so they can go meet her family. When she goes to pick her boyfriend up, they break up, and she's like, alright. Like, whatever, I can tell you ain't really like me like that anyway. So she go home, she not distraught, she not happy, she's just like, another one bites the dust. Cool. Alright, she get home, and they're going through like this traditional process because her sister is about to get engaged, and like her sister's boyfriend is about to come over and meet her family and talk to him and basically ask for her sister's hand in marriage. And so they're going through the traditional process of all of that. And while they're in the process of that, Angie gets the results back from this big medical exam that she took, and it's not great. She did not get the scores that she really wanted, and so she's really distraught about that more than anything. And so she's distraught about that, and she's just like, oh my gosh. So she gets a plan in place, but she's like, I need to go home, I need to be with my best friend. Like, that would make me feel so much better. So she go home, she lives with her best friend. She goes home, her best friend is still like out or whatever. She's like, I'm going on this little solo date, enjoy my little time. It's like an art thing going on. Alright, cool. She goes for this walk, and she stops by this garden, and she's like, oh, it's so pretty over here. So she goes to sit down, sits down, breaks down, crying. She's like very distraught. She breaks down and cries. She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And she's crying in the middle of the garden. She thinks she's alone, but she's not, because a guy comes over there to her and is like, are you okay? And she's like, Obviously not. And so he's like, can I draw you? And it's really, really cute, really cute, really cute. Okay, a really cute moment between them two. And yeah, it kind of goes on from there. You would think it was more focused on a romance, but it really takes you on a journey. Okay, Miss Charlene take you on a ride, because it's more than a romance in this book, which is what I really, really love. It's more about, you know, her really going through the ups and downs of medical school and trying to figure that out, you know, dealing with the whole heaviness of basically just trying to figure out what direction to go in for medical school and what her life is going to look like. And then she's also navigating her friendship. Her and her best friend really kind of like hit a wall with each other, and she's like very confused. And it's also this guy that keeps popping up, and she's like, what does he have going on? Like, I don't understand. So it's a very complex story, but it works so well together. It's all really written perfectly. It reminded me so much of Insecure. Let me know if I'm alone. If you have read this and you got an Insecure vibe too, like, let me know. But this does really remind me of Insecure, so I would say if you enjoy Insecure, you will really enjoy this book as well. But yeah, overall I gave this a 5-star rating, and I'm so excited to read more from this author. I know she has another book called Between Friends and Lovers that's getting a lot of like rave on TikTok, so it's gonna be something I pick up next. But overall, those are all the books that I read in June and July. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me based off the books that I read, and if you have any thoughts on some of the books that I read. If you have read some of these books, let me know in the comments below. Let's do a little chat. And yeah, that is pretty much it. Make sure you follow me on Goodreads. I will often post like my thoughts and reviews of what I'm reading, and also follow me on Instagram as well. I post my, like, what's the word? I post often what I will be reading in the moment. So like I post like what I just finished reading and my initial thoughts and stuff like that, and then I also post on Goodreads as well. I have a whole like highlight on my Instagram about the books that I've read, so even as far as like the little notes and highlights I got from reading like All About Love, those will be on my Instagram highlight for books as well. So yeah, follow me on there and on Goodreads to keep up with me like in the moment in real time. And yeah, let me know what y'all are reading. If you have, like I said, any recommendations for me, drop them down below. Y'all were so kind and so sweet in my book haul, so I really appreciate y'all. And yeah, I'm really excited to read more. So far I have not been reading at the same pace I was in June and July and August, but I'm trying to get back to it. I've been reading more nonfiction, so it's kind of like taking me a little bit longer to get through these books. But yeah, that is all of the books that I have read. I did quite a bit of reading. I read a total of 11 books in June and July. So yeah, stay tuned for the next video, and yeah, I will see y'all then. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and see y'all next time. Bye. We both still